quantification is required. So remember, think about using that subway picture. Think about using the non-word repetition task. Think about using this. You can click this and see the lion pop up, but really, can the child learn this? What does a child do at 2 years, 10 months old? How many tasks, how many attempts does he need to learn it? How much modeling does he need? And then you can take that when you've given it to a lot of typically developing kids at around the same age level, then you have clinical judgment on what to expect with a 25% delay in nonverbal intelligence, a 33% delay in nonverbal intelligence. So 25% delay is mild to moderate, like that little boy, the Kobe boy, Koba boy. 33% delay is moderately severe to severe, like the little girl who did the non-word repetition task and really broke down very early on with this repetition of sounds. I do want to repeat that you must know that being typical does not mean getting 100% correct, all right? So how can an evaluator identify 25% delay and 33% delay? It's your clinical judgment. It's looking at a lot of typically developing kids, doing the same tasks again and again in the same way, and assessing, learning from what you do. So I use this language in my evaluations. I might say, based upon the assessment materials, by this point, I've written an evaluation with lots of data, holograms, quantification, discussing what I saw, what the child did or didn't have that I would expect. You see, if you want copies of model evaluations, they will be on the website that should be up very shortly. But also you can email me, Crowley, CROWLEY @tc.columbia.edu. That 2-year, 10-month-old Mexican boy that we looked at a lot, that's my evaluation, giving you examples, including the cognitive piece was in my speech and language evaluation, to give you examples of how to put this together. Then at the very end, after you've created the hologram, right? Based on the assessment materials administered and clinical judgment, this 3-year to 4-month-old boy appears to be functioning at the 24 to 30-month level in receptive and expressive language skills, indicating at least a 25% delay. Now, range, you can do a range. You don't have to, but you can do a range. It's very hard to do smaller than a 6-month range when you're at the 24 to 30. You can't do a 3-month range just because of the wide variety of normal. New York State Department of Health, EI, in their clinical practice guidelines, from 24 to 36 months, it's a 12-month range. Why? Because they acknowledge at least the clinical practice guidelines do, the wide range of normal. And that's going to be true for a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old, the wide range of normal. And that's why the whole idea of age equivalencies are just so silly. Because there's no child who's functioning at the 2-year, 4-month range, or the 4-year, 6-month range, or the 4-year, 1-month range. And to assume that just illustrates a lack of understanding about child development and the evaluation process. Here's another one. Based on the assessment materials administered and clinical judgment, this child's cognitive skills appear to be in the mild to moderately delayed range. You can do low average, you can be the deficient, however if you want to use more of the psychological terms they use, low average, mildly deficient. You can use those terms as well. Obviously, low average would be 25% delay, deficient would be 33% delay.